What's up, y'all, and thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and this is my video for the rundown and thoughts for AEW Rampage for the 17th of September 2021. They start off with an AEW Tag Team Title Match. It's on the line, and HFO's Butcher and Blade are the challengers, and Ricky Starks is sitting in on commentary. And I hope I am not cringed out by him. I mean, I am, but he already started it talking in an affected voice. You better not keep that shit up, you know. Now, what's up with the commentary? The format, the commentary team on AEW Rampage. Like 2 is perfect, 3 is okay but pushing it, and 4 is an example of like too many cooks in the kitchen. Like even WWE only has 2 or 3, you know. But like I always say, I hate Taz on commentary being all jolly and laughing at Jericho's jokes. But then he becomes big, bad, angry little man Taz, coach of Team Taz, whenever his enemy shows up. You hear that throughout the entire damn thing. These guys just joking, these guys, saying this and that. And I'm like, you know, like, what is that about? Do you see that on WWE when MVP sits in the commentary desk, or you see, Drew McIntyre or any of the other guys sit there and they're out of character? They maintain their character, whatever their character is. Jericho is a heel commentator, and then Taz is a baby face. What is that about? I get it when these guys are outside of the ring, they're notorious and they're known for hanging out. Everybody pretty much is friends when it comes to the AEW company. But it's like, how about you maintain some semblance of this is my character, I'm gonna maintain that character, I'm gonna be like that even when I'm commentary. Because Taz is a commentator. He was on commentary for SmackDown, and he's on commentary for, even I think even in TNA. But it's just like you're not a commentator in AEW in the sense that, you know, be yourself. I mean, wouldn't it be more interesting if you kept to yourself as the coach of Team Taz and have the way you talk? It actually would, instead of you flip flopping. I mean, I'm probably being a little bit too nitpicky, but I don't think so. And another thing, Penta. Oh, Penta El Cielo Mero, whatever he says. How many times is he going to do that no fear hand gesture? And then he always gets caught doing a maneuver. Like, maybe you should stop doing that more than, I don't know, more than 2 or 3 times, maybe. Stop doing it I remember the first time when I started watching AEW Dynamite for the first day of debut, and I forget, it was either that match or it was either that show or maybe the next one. I don't know. Whenever I saw him, the first time I saw him, he did it every second. I'm going, what is this guy trying to prove? It's already over. Now it's already over. Everybody does it. Everybody says it. What are you trying to do? Still trying to get it over? You know what I mean? Like, and then every time he does it, like I said, oh, here he goes. He's gonna miss a move, or he's gonna get caught in the air, or he's gonna get drop kicked, outside the ring. It's like, why does he keep doing it? But then Penta, in the end, they tied his mask. They thought that they were gonna get an advantage over the champs and win the titles. But he sacrifices his mask. He takes it off, and then he makes a save to prevent the Butcher and Blade from putting Phoenix away. And then Phoenix rolls up Butcher, and the Lucha Bros retain. And then the rest of the HFO come out to beat down the champs, but Santana and Ortiz come to the Lucha Bros' aid and run off HFO. Now, Danielson and Omega will collide next week at AEW Rampage Grand Slam. Bryan was the underdog, and he's here. And here he is, still the underdog, says Omega. Omega wonders why everyone comes for him when they arrive, perhaps because he is the top talent. I am here to show the real Daniel Bryanson in his response, and says that, which will be exciting for the fans and scary as hell for the AEW wrestlers. Bryan Danielson, the underdog, will not have a Cinderella story, says Omega. Pretty quick to the point, and I liked it. It was a pretty good segment, and it wasn't too wordy. It wasn't again, because we already heard what they want, heard what they expect, heard what they're gonna do, this and that, you know. So I'm thinking, again, they're gonna talk, but it was a good, decent thing, a good, decent segment. Now, Anna Jay with Ty Conte in her corner takes on the Bunny with Penelope Ford in hers. And again, I'll reiterate, Jericho is a heel commentator and Taz is a babyface. Man, it gets on my last nerves. How about you remain in character on commentary and in the ring? I said this earlier, and I'm going to say it again. I'm tired of how they sound. They're great commentators. I've never said that I don't like Taz or Jericho on commentary, but why is it that Jericho is putting down people and talking shit, and then Taz is praising people and coming to their defense in some instances? Is that their character? Like, are we supposed to just, just suspend disbelief and accept it when they're one moment they're this character, then the next moment they're this character? Well, it's, I don't know, it's unnerving. It's really just like, what? Why are you guys doing that? Wouldn't it be, like I said earlier, wouldn't it be better if you guys remained in your regular characters? Because then that's what we want to see. At least that's what I want to see. You know, but and in the end, I was thinking to myself, I guess AEW are in talks with Fruit Roll Up. I mean, WWE must be, because that's all they do. They must have a back door or a not seen what do you call it, endorsement with them, because they seem to be doing roll ups, like a tie into Fruit Roll Ups, right? And then here we see another match that ends in a roll up, like the first the match with the tag team titles. You know, we call it feel it. Ray Phoenix rolls up the Butcher, and then here, due to a distraction, uh, the Bunny is pinned by Anna Jay, and the HFO are 0-2 for tonight. But Penelope Ford, she gets her little bit of payback, a little bit of what have you, and she uses her brass knucks, and she knocks out Ty Conti, and does a number on Anna Jay as well. Knocks them both out, and they are laying. Now Matt Hardy is a little pissed backstage. He's huffing and puffing, and he has the sights set next week as Penelope Ford. He says is going to beat Anna Jay. He's going to make her pay. And then he also proposes an 8-man tag with the as a HFO. His HFO are going to take on Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz. I'm looking forward to that because I love multi-man tag matches. Said with sarcasm because I don't. But if it's a good match, I'll grin and bear through it and I'll watch it. You know. But if not done right, those matches are always a mess. And then he eyes a guy that he says looks like he's a Orange Cassidy lookalike, except for the shirt and his stance, and he even does a thumbs up like Orange Cassidy. He don't look nothing like him. And he pulls him over the damn guardrail, throws him into the ring, and then who's that guy? One of his HFO guys, part of that tag team with Angelico. Who's that other guy? Jack something. I forget his name. He beats on him and stuff, and then Matt Hardy hits the twist of fate. Then they cut his hair. It's not enough to cut off his ponytail. He shaves his head, and then in comes Orange Cassidy. He comes out and he runs him off. Definitely must be an indie wrestler, or maybe somebody who paid for to get beat up. I don't know. Maybe he had to sign waivers with Tony Khan. Said, "I'll do it. I'll do it. If I get hurt, you guys are not liable." Maybe. Or it could be, like I said, it could be an indie wrestler that they hired. Like they always do that. They're not gonna take some fan like that. How many times have we seen through the years, through the decades? Oh, as a fan, let's have this fan come out. He ends up being a wrestler. Like back in the day when I was a kid, I didn't know. I thought these guys were actually fans, and I'm thinking, if I go to a wrestling event, am I gonna get attacked? Like that. Am I gonna get hurt? You know what I mean? Oh, us kids. When we were kids, we didn't know shit, didn't we? Now, This was a very, very good segment. Something that I'm definitely going to do the full rundown because it was just an amazing back and forth and the trade of words and insults. And let's get into it. Now, Dr. Britt Baker does come out. She comes out with a face to face with Ruby Soho, and Britt hugged Tony Schiavone. And how's that going to sit with her man, Adam Cole? He looked like he was kind of hesitant, but he did. He gave her a hug. I don't know. You know how Adam Cole, Bay feels about his baby. And he pretty much told Tony, I'm gonna knock your ass out, and stuff like that. If you do anything or even look at her weird, that's more than looking. He got a hug from her, but you know, she talks about how Ruby is here in AEW, as they face one another. She says for her, she's not for the gold or the fans, because she's looking for an identity. So Ruby Riot, well, I mean Ruby Soho is not in it for the fans or the gold. She's in it for herself. That's what Dr. Britt says. But then Ruby says Britt has to let everyone know who she is. She spells it out for the crowd. Ruby knows who she is and has never had a chance to show it. And I've been a fan of her since she arrived in WWE. First in NXT and then on the main roster. And yeah, they never ever let her shine as a singles. They put her with Liv, made them the Riot Squad, and never ever let her shine, and she would shine at times in singles matches. But WWE is like, oh no, she's not our cookie cutter blonde, long blonde hair looking thing. We don't like the tattoos and all that stuff, so we're gonna make her, just someone that someone can beat. Enhancement talent, whatever. And they missed a whole lot on her. And I think this is the reason why Tony Khan pulled the trigger on her and made her the number one contender, because he wants to show what she can do. And us true fans know what the fuck she can do. Now, on the surface, this is what we were right talking about Dr. Britt. It's like, she's like every broad she stepped in the ring with. Entitled, self-centered, and banging some dude in the back. Now, the first two, I can kind of associate that with Charlotte. Banging some dude in the back. Well, her man ain't there no more. Andrade, he's in AEW, so, you know. But those two things are just definitely describe her, and then she's saying that about Dr. Britt, and we know who the dude in the back is, right? Now, it turns out that it's just that, and trying to figure out if there's anything more to that, the whole thing of, Mrs. Baker there. Britt is trying to figure out, why Ruby is lying to everybody. This is her retort. And lying to everybody, including herself, because she has the audacity to call herself the runaway. But she didn't run away from anything. She got fired. Not a jab there because of what happened in WWE, part of the cuts that happened recently, a number of months ago. But Ruby says you're not wrong. Hey, she's not wrong. I did. But it turns out it was the best damn thing to ever happen to her. It brought her to AEW, brought her to this moment where she is now looking in the champ's eyes. I want you to look at me, Britt. Snaps her fingers at her because Britt's looking the other way. Look at me. I want you to see the woman you're messing with, but I'm surprised you can see anything with your head so far up Tony Khan's ass. That's like, a jab at her company now. Guys are jabs at WWE, jabs at AEW. And she goes, the fact of the matter is you can call yourself all these nicknames. She has all these nicknames, right? And remind everyone who you are. DMD, right? But after Dynamite next week, when I beat your ass, says Ruby Soho, in New York City, and take your title, the one thing you won't be calling yourself is AEW Women's World Champion. A damn good segment. Ruby can go. Ruby can talk in the ring. She's really good on the mic. Cuts promos like better than a lot of the women in this industry. Dr. Britt is no slouch herself, but kind of funny how she's going, doing that to her, kind of like, just keep talking, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, yeah, but I didn't hear you talk to her after that. You just raised the belt, She kind of, if you know that in WWE, in that 2K22 game, they have that thing where you're doing a promo and stuff like that, and then one person wins, and I would just say that Ruby's the one that won this one, But who got the championship, right? It's Dr. Britt, and then the both of them get into it, and Ruby was able to get the advantage and mount her, and she's trying to pound her, and Dr. Britt rolls out of the ring, And Ruby has the gold and she's holding it up. And I've always said, and I know a lot of people say that it's kind of like a bad thing to do. You don't want to touch the title before you have a title match because then you might not win the match. It's like that's like the omen going on with that. Like you don't touch the gold, don't touch this. But will she win the title? It would have to be something to where it's going to be a surprise. No one's expecting it. But like I said, she's just beginning her reign. I don't think they're going to take it off her. They might, but maybe just to let her know that she's appreciated in AEW and they'll give her the belt. Might be a transitional champion and they'll go probably go back to Britt Baker. Maybe in November they got full gear. Maybe they'll do that. Who knows? Who knows? But looking forward to it. You know, it's very interesting. I like the dynamic between the two. I think they'll gel in the ring pretty good, and let's see what happens during that championship match. Now, the AEW Dynamite Grand Slam, they announced the matches. CM Punk will have not a match, but he will have an interview 48 hours before his first televised match in 7 years. And it's going to take place at Rampage Grand Slam. Rhodes will take on Malachi Black. MJF will go against Brian Pillman Jr., the AEW Women's Championship between Britt Baker and Ruby Soho. And FTR will go one-on-one against, well, not one-on-one, but in a tag team. They will take on Darby and Sting. And that right there looks pretty good. But let's look at the AEW Rampage Grand Slam. It'll be Powerhouse Hobbs versus CM Punk in that first match for Punk in 7 years on TV. Kingston and Mox versus Minoru Suzuki and Lance Archer, the Murder Hawk Monster, and the Lights Out match. They had that. That was that match with wasn't that with I call it Dr. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. That was a Lights Out match, wasn't it? If I'm not mistaken. Then we have an 8-man tag match with the HFO and versus the Lucha Bros and Santana and Ortiz. Anna Jay will take on Penelope Ford, and Christian Cage and the Jurassic Express take on Adam Cole and the Bucks. And Men of the Year, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky will take on Jericho and Hager, members of the Inner Circle. Now, Fuego del Sol in the main event challenges Miro for the TNT Championship, and these two were interviewed by Mark Henry, and I skipped it. And, well, at least Henry wasn't on commentary, but I had to listen to absolute cringe Ricky Starks. A match, he really put in a lot of moves. He has a lot of moves in his arsenal. He's very fun to watch, Fuego del Sol. And he had the champ going, but it looks like the champ was just playing with him, because then at one point he got pissed, and he just starts hitting him with this shots, overhand rights and lefts. He was just like going, I'm done playing with your ass. I'm not going to let you even get one more move off. There was one thing where Fuego del Sol jumped off of the second rope, and like someone with with a fly swatter just swatted him out of the air. My God, man, I'm surprised that his head didn't bounce off the damn thing and fly off and go into the crowd. But then he ends up hitting a super kick, not one in the side of the head, and then another super kick to the back of Fuego's head, and the Redeemer retains. And is there any surprise? Like, he even makes Fuego choke on his car keys by applying that submission. He slaps that on, and then he leans back, and you got no choice but to tap. And then I'm thinking, when is a certain individual going to come out? And then the crowd reacts and chants, and then they cheer, and out comes Sammy Guevara, and he makes it known perhaps that he wants a TNT title match next. The commentary team even said, are we looking at the next match, the next matchup for the TNT title? Of course he went out there to come to the aid of his boy, his homie, his friend there, Fuego del Sol. But Fuego del Sol does show glimpses of greatness. He is really fun, like I said, fun to watch. He does have a lot of good, but he's just not in the league of Miro. Miro's going to be undefeated. He had that long undefeated streak in WWE as well. So TNA, AEW is looking at that same thing and going, we're going to make him undefeated. He might keep this title, and then he might be undefeated and go for the world title. And then he'll just, maybe just relinquish the TNT title, and then that's going to be up for a tournament. Maybe Casino Battle Royal, they'll just put the title up on the line for it. Who knows? But yeah, that was my video for my rundown of thoughts on AEW Rampage for the 17th of September, 2021. I enjoyed it. I really, really did. It's just great how they are moving along, and they really, really made a lot of headway into next week's, Grand Slam themed week. Setting up these, rivalries, these feuds, setting up the matches. So it's like I read through them, and I'm just thinking which one to me is better. I'm just thinking, well, let's look at the, Dynamite Grand Slam, and I'm looking forward to Cody Rhodes and Aleister Black, and then the women's championship match. But the other matches look good. But I'm looking forward to those two. And then on Rampage, CM Punk is of course piqued my interest because it's his first match on TV. Even though we know that he's here and he's definitely ready and he's definitely good to go. When it comes to his in-ring ability, there's no denying now. There's no doubt. And then the physicality of the Kingston Mox and Suzuki and Archer lights out match. Um, you know, I'm looking forward to that. I want to get blown out of my seat, man, and just fucking like holy shit after that match is done. And so both nights I'm looking forward to. I don't know if there's a even a advantage of one thing over the other. I think it's gonna be a total combined like amazing, 2 days of wrestling action for Grand Slam, the Grand Slam theme. But anyway, that's my video. So for those of you who stopped by and checked it out, I appreciate it. I thank you very much. And in closing, as always, take care.